Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and it's time we're going to look at game number 1 in our 20 from 1988 series. Yep, we're going to wrap up this series and move on to 1989 pretty soon. But first, before we look at game number 1, we are going to have to look at the honorable mentions. The games did not quite make the list, but they're still worth checking out. First, we're going to look at part of the Track and Field series, 88 games by Konami. And it has a number of the same events from the first couple games, Track and Field and Hypersports. There are improved graphics, and there are sometimes different perspectives of the event. See, we'll see him doing the long jump here. Kind of cool. I don't remember seeing this in arcades.
Distance 8.13 meters.
But
you are the third best.
the only event that's different from the first two games that I can think of is there's the relay where you hand off the baton. But the next game we're going to look at is called Crazy Climber 2, and this was released only in Japan by Nichibutsu. It's got some cool additions to the gameplay, some new dangers. There's a gal that can kick you off of the building, but you still want to make it to the top and catch the chopper. This time, instead of catching a balloon, you have to climb up to your girlfriend in order to get a step bonus and get additional points for climbing each story. A number of other things from the first game are present in here. You can get hit by clothes. And there's King Kong throwing bricks. I put on invincibility right there. But we're also going to look at Cyberball, and this was created by Atari Games. This was fairly popular. You got to choose your own coach. You got to choose your team. Your robots as football players, and you need to score a touchdown as soon as you can, because the ball is like radioactive and it can explode. I prefer the sequel much more, Cyberball Tournament Cyberball 2072 or something. But I remember seeing this at the arcades. This was pretty popular. But again, I think the follow-up was much better. You gotta choose your own plays, and it's like football. And you have robotic voices calling out the plays, or saying "hut," and there the player blew up. But next we're going to look at Final Round by Konami. And it's a pretty cool boxing game. The graphics aren't great, but you can do different training exercises to build up your various different stamina or strength or punch power or whatever. Kind of cool, and you can move all over the canvas. The computer almost always seems to get up. And there's another training exercise where you punch various targets that appear all of a sudden. I think I'd seen this at arcades before. And there you get your points for your various attributes. And now we're going to look at Haunted Castle, and this is part of the Castlevania franchise. This is the first arcade release of Castlevania, and it's just BS hard. This is notoriously difficult. You whip your enemies to get hearts, like in the usual Castlevania games. But the difficulty is just so unfair. Just touching like a single bat can knock your energy way down very hard. But there are different weapons. You can pick up bombs, boomerangs, whatnot. there's a boomerang being thrown at an enemy right there. And now we're going to look at the main event by Konami. And this is an okay wrestling game.
Here we go.
I like the sound effects. They sound very good. And there's an announcer.
Good teamwork.
And it's tag team, so you can have a friend join in, try to grab enemies and put them in submission holds and stuff. Pretty decent game. And now we're going to look at Mechanized Attack by SNK. And this is like Operation Wolf, but it's not a rail shooter. It doesn't really move around. Maybe it does, I guess. But you try to take out all the enemies that are attacking you and shoot rocket launchers in the air or missiles in the air. Pretty good game. And there's a boss battleship that I just took down there. Pretty cool game for its time. This was just before they went to the Neo Geo. And there's a tough stage where you have very limited visibility. And next, we are going to look at Ninja Spirit. This is a very cool game by IREM. You control a ninja. You can use various different weapons at your disposal. Shurikens, your regular sword. You even have a grappling hook that you can use. And on this stage, you have to watch out for an enemy from below. You will need these weapons, because one hit will kill you. Yeah, so especially where they throw those multiple shurikens, you have to really watch out. But I don't remember coming across this in arcades, but it is very cool. And now we're going to look at P-47, the Phantom Fighter by NMK and Jaleco. That's a pretty good shooter. Solid music. Once you get the missiles, the game becomes a little bit easier. You can take out a big old group of enemies with a cluster of missiles. And there's a boss train right there. I'd heard of this one before. Dying will put you right back into the action, which is nice. There was a follow-up, I think, and I don't remember what it was called, but again, this was created by a company called NMK and licensed to Jaleco. And there's various nice graphics, and look at that sunset in the background. I really like that. This is a cool game. And now we're going to look at POW, Prisoner of War, created by SNK. And this is just a beat 'em up set in a POW camp. And you use your fists and feet. You can use a jump kick, and you can pick up knives, and you can pick up machine guns. This is kind of cool. I remember playing it on the NES, and I did see this in the arcades. You can play a two-player simultaneous play, and these guys throw grenades with big blast radiuses, but the enemies can't be hurt by them, which is lame. Pretty tough. Not bad beating them up by any means. If you run out of bullets, you can whack the enemies with your machine gun. And now we're going to look at a game called Scramble Spirits, and this was created by Sega. It's a shoot 'em up. Sega wasn't really known for their shoot 'em ups, but you can change the formation of the option fighters that you can collect. Kind of reminiscent of another game called Tokyo that came out earlier. And then there will be some close-up scenarios when you land, and you can destroy ground targets. you have a like a missile that fires when you shoot your regular shots, or a bomb when you fire your regular shots. And now we're going to look at Sky Soldiers by Alpha Denshi and SNK. Not a bad game. It's got big planes that you fly. I mean, really big planes, and you go through various different time periods in history. And you can collect some okay power-ups. You can play 2 players simultaneous play. I think I'd seen this in arcades. I think. It's been a while. And there's various bosses you have to fight, and there's like a giant worm or something. A mechanical worm. And now we're going to look at Splatterhouse, and this is a very gory, disturbing game by Namco. It gained popularity on home consoles, and you can gorily chop your enemies in half, behead them. Really disturbing game, and you kind of look like Jason from the Friday the 13th movies. You have a hockey mask. You pick up various bladed weapons. It's a really frickin' hard game. It's very tough to avoid getting hit by the enemies. There's some gross maggots that jump out of a pile of guts or whatever. Yuck. Really disgusting game. And I guess you're supposed to save some girlfriend of yours, but she ends up dying at the end or something. Just a disturbing, dour, gloomy, gory game. You can also pick up like a wrench that you can throw. Weird. But now we're going to look at Superman, and I did not care for this game. This was created by Taito. I did not think it was a very good game, but I know it was popular. You can punch and kick your enemies. You can throw items at them, or you can destroy those items. I just did not think it was very good. You will see some cameos from... I think you'll see Brainiac and Lex Luthor or something. Some stages you'll be able to fire your X-ray vision or your heat vision or whatever. See, like here. Player 2, if you play 2 players simultaneous play, is actually Captain Marvel. But I was not a big fan of this game at all. But I know a lot of people were crazy about it. And now we're going to look at V-Ball. This might also be called Championship V-Ball. This was created by Technos. And this is a pretty decent game of volleyball. Bump, set, spike. Sometimes if you spike hard enough, you'll knock out your opponent, and you'll get the point. Seems like maybe the second player or the computer knocks it out of bounds a lot, so that might be helpful. You just need to get 10 points in order to win. And now we're going to look at Vigilante, and I didn't really care for this one much either. This was created by Irem and licensed to Data East, and this is a follow-up of Kung Fu Master, sort of. You have a girlfriend named Madonna who got captured. She won't survive in prison. She's a material girl. But you use your punch and you use your kick. This is really hard. I just don't like this game that much. You can get weapons like nunchucks, which help increase your range. There are enemies with knives, and they take a lot of hits to bring down. And if you let them get close enough, they will cut you and take off massive damage, or incur massive damage. Tough game. I just see that they really hurt when they stab you. And they can surround you. Not a big fan of it, but I know it was popular. And last, we're going to look at Final Blow by Taito. And this ended up being called James Buster Douglas Boxing, or Knockout Boxing, on the Sega Genesis. It was one of their launch titles. And it was graphically really impressive for its time. You can do high jab, low jab. high cross, low cross, uppercut, and you can make some of the attacks much stronger and take off a lot of damage from your opponent. But very graphically impressive, and I really enjoyed it for the Sega Genesis. But we are going to look at game number 1, and it is Bad Dudes by Data East. What a great game. And even though it's not as graphically impressive as other games from this same year, boy, was it fun. and it was at every arcade. It was ever present. You have an 8-way joystick, an attack button, and a jump button, and you can use those controls in concert in order to make special moves. So yeah, you can play 2 players simultaneous play in this game, and player 1 is known as Blade, player 2 is known as Striker. You have a punch and you have a kick, but there is also a very important charge attack. You can hold down the attack button, and after a couple seconds or so, you can let go and fire off a very strong attack. Now, most of the enemies will go down with just one hit, and note that you have all sorts of ninjas that you have to contend against, and they have kidnapped President Ronnie, who is obviously Ronald Reagan. This game is just so 80s. That's why I love it. Yeah, President Ronnie. But the first stage is set in the city, and I'm just going to play 1 player, not 2 players simultaneous play. There are blue ninjas, and they are the main fodder enemy, and they generally go down with 1 hit. There are also red ninjas that will drop items for you, and the items can be a new weapon, which is nunchucks or a knife, or they can be a clock, which gives you 5 seconds of time back. And there is my charge attack. It is much stronger than your regular attack. There are black ninjas that throw shuriken at you, or they can throw caltrops on the ground. And if you don't have a weapon, you can attack the caltrops and take them out. And look who the first boss is. It's Karnov. Yeah, a protagonist of his own game. What made him turn evil? But at any rate, he is no real threat. In fact, you can just kind of back off and then come back after him and attack him. And the weapon that I have right now is the nunchucks, and that is super helpful because it has such nice reach. If an enemy is not on a floor that you like him on, you can switch to the other floor. Simply press up and jump if you're on a lower floor to get up to a higher floor, or down and jump to drop down to a lower floor or to the bottom floor. And this is the second stage. This takes place on 2 cars of a semi-truck. Now note that some of the blue ninjas will be climbing up the side of the truck, and eventually they'll climb up to the top. Running into an enemy will cause a little bit of damage. Getting hit by their attack causes a little damage. What's really important in this game is to know the distance that the ninjas jump, because they'll be doing a lot of jumping, and then you can turn around and nail them when they land. Like I said before, the black ninjas, and sometimes other ninjas, they will throw shurikens, which is just a straight throw, and you can cancel it with whatever weapon or well-timed attack. and they can throw the caltrops. You can restore, 3 or 4 bars of energy? 4 bars of energy if you pick up the cola, which looks very much like Coca-Cola. And that's, again, from the red ninjas that drop that sometimes. There will be some ninjas... Whoops, I was not paying attention. And there was another cola that I grabbed. There will be some ninjas that have claws, and they are short. And you'll need to often duck and attack them. And this second boss looks like a miniature version of Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he has claws. Again, don't be afraid to switch from the bottom floor to a higher floor if that gives you an advantage over an enemy. And early on, the bosses are very susceptible to that charge attack. Now, if you have a weapon and you're on the lower floor, you can swing your weapon upwards, and you might be able to hit an enemy from below, which is nice. There are just certain things that make this game much deeper than you might realize, and it's fun to tinker around with strategies to take out enemies. But like I was saying before, and the women, the female ninjas grunt or say something when you kill them, and the guys just go bleh. But yeah, you can take out those caltrops from below. Swing your weapon up at them if you have a pair of nunchucks. And the nunchucks are much better than the short-ranged dagger. You can hurt yourself by falling into that sewer water. It's disgusting anyway. Yeah, especially learn the jump radius or jump distance of that ninja that has the sword. Just kind of learn the behavior and jump distance of the ninjas, the various different ninjas, and that'll really help you get further in this game. The special jump attack is really cool. You press the jump button and forward, and in mid-air press both jump and attack, and you'll do a spin kick that looks really cool. It's not quite as cool as the charge attack or useful, but it can have its applications. Now this boss is a ninja that likes to split himself up into multiple forms, and each of those forms takes 2 hits to take down, and then you have to nail the ninja itself a handful of times. He just has a little jump kick that he can use, and then after taking a little bit of damage, he'll send more copies after you. Yeah, you're likely to lose a life somewhere around this point if you're not a serious expert at this game. See, I'm running out of room. I need to drop down and go around this way. And there I used a spin kick. And yeah, the spin kick can be pretty nice if you're just trying to plow through enemies by jump attacking them. If you keep hitting the attack button, you'll do a little bit of a combo. You'll do like maybe a punch and a couple kicks. You don't have to keep wailing down the attack button when you're trying to take out enemies. You can just hit them with one kick. That might be a good idea, because if you keep wailing on the buttons, you might be doing more kicks than you wanted to, and an enemy can sneak up behind you while you're kicking. And there are some dogs in this game, and you will need to duck and attack them. And they will yipe when you kill them, which saddens me. I never quite used to be a dog lover, but I do like dogs. I've gotten more fond of them. They seem to like me generally. The sound might have cut out a little bit around here. I'm not sure why that happened. Emulation issues, probably. I'm playing this on MAME 235 or something. You do not get extra lives in any shape or form. There's no one-up symbol. And sometimes there is a ninja on fire. But you cannot kill him. Sometimes there's little dips, and you can't really see it until you've fallen into it. Get yourself out of it quickly, because sometimes enemies can take advantage of that. Yeah, the kunoichis, or female ninjas, crack me up in this game, the weird things they say. And the ninjas can do backflips. Take care from... sometimes the ninjas on the lower floor will be jumping around, and they might be able to hit you from below. And then there's those claw ninjas again. If a ninja that likes to jump a lot comes towards you and he's on like a lower floor than you, damn it, I decided not to spend a continue, but you will continue not only right where you left off, but you'll keep your score, which is really nice. The maximum score is 999,999. It will not roll over or continue on when you almost reach 1,000,000. But we'll look at a little bit of the attract mode again. I will pick up where I left off a little bit later. We'll see some of the action on the final level, which is level 7. Or round 7, or whatever, stage 7. That looks really weird. Sometimes you if you die, it looks like you're hanging onto the ledge by your toes. Looks really silly. But yeah, we'll pick up where I left off. And again, those caltrops that the ninja sometimes leaves, you can, if you do not have a weapon, you can like duck and use an attack to take them out. And we just saw me using the what was it, the down and attack and jump buttons together. That does a ducking high kick. And here is the 4th stage boss, and he's a giant cyborg, and he's actually really quite easy. He's tough to hit with the charge attack sometimes, but he has very powerful kick attack and a punch. And what you want to do is just do a quick kick attack and back off, and repeat. And you should at least take out a lot of his really high energy bar. Ouch. Now, I put on invincibility after my initial game that I played. I just wanted to be able to make it through the game as quickly as I can. But I will skip through. I won't play a full playthrough. I will just show parts, at least, of each stage. And yeah, there are 7 stages. And I just cleared the forest stage. Stage 1 is the street, with Karnov at the end. Stage 2 is riding on the semi, with the Claw Ninja boss at the end. Stage 3 is the sewer, with the multi-ninja at the end. Stage 4 is the forest, with the cyborg at the end, the boss. Stage 5 here is a train with multiple cars. Yeah, don't engage the fire ninja. The fire. Whoa! Don't fall on the ground, or you will lose energy big time, unless you have the invincibility cheat like I do. And now we're facing Karnov as a mini boss this time. And Karnov's skin looks weird. It looks like he's got, not sure if it's hepatitis or what it is, but he looks really sick. But but we will scoot forward a little bit. There's a lot more cars on this stage with the train than there were on the semi on stage 2. And again, we have ninjas trying to climb up the side, and eventually they will climb up. But you need to make sure that you're not standing there or they'll bump you and hurt you. And I am not a fan of this boss. This is probably my least favorite boss of all. He has, can't remember the name of the weapon, but it's a sickle and a chain. And that might be a spiked ball too. But he is super active and super hopping all over the place. It's very, very annoying. And if there's multiple floors, then he will quickly jump up to your floor and likely right on you and hurt you. And he's got nice reach with his ball and chain. Yeah, I'm not terribly sure what the best strategy for this guy is. I fell in love with this game big time in the arcade. I was crazy about it. I had hoped that it would come to the Sega Genesis because the NES port was crappy. But I just loved how he said, "I'm bad," when he beat the boss of each stage.
Got it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's much time that the clock restores on your timer. But your timer moves very, very slowly. So you have all kinds of time to beat each stage.
Got it.
Definitely make sure that you grab that Coke can, because that restores, like I said, 4 bars on your life meter. And seeing how quickly, if you let enemies gang up on you, that life bar can deplete. Or if you let bosses hit you with big, strong attacks. And there's Sick Karnoff again as a mini-boss. On the final stage, there will be a whole mess of former bosses, actually all of them, as mini-bosses. This game is also known as Bad Dudes vs. Dragon Ninja. Most people remember it as just Bad Dudes. I guess in some areas this was known as just plain Dragon Ninja. And probably not in America. Probably not very many countries. And you cannot hit the caltrops from below with your dagger. It's too small, or your knife. And this boss has a bow staff, and he's a master of, what's it called, Bojutsu. I actually used to practice Bojutsu. Oops. Sometimes it looks like you jumped from below onto the ledge, but you still miss it. Some little technical gaffes in this game. Yeah, this guy's pretty annoying too. I'm not a fan of him, but... yeah, oftentimes if you switch floors trying to fight a boss, then that kind of backfires. They end up getting close to you. And you don't really want that. It might be a good idea to do a high jump, which is holding up and forward and jumping over the boss, so that you can maybe change your strategy around. Yeah, sometimes the enemies, the ninjas, will throw smoke bombs, and that may be just to hurt you, or it might be to create another ninja. Yeah, try not to run over those caltrops.
Got it.
I'd like to see a good ninja movie being brought back to Hollywood. I remember really liking, even though most of the movie was dumb and was poorly dubbed, I remember liking, what was it, Return of the Ninja or Revenge of the Ninja? With Sho Kosugi. Very exciting ending where two ninjas battle on a rooftop. And here's Sick Karnov again. Now this is stage 7. And you will start going up an elevator to higher floors. But first, whoops, need to get out of the way and face this cyborg again. Yeah, you will face all of the bosses that you fought earlier. And they will go down much quicker than they did before. Yeah, the charge attack just doesn't really hurt the cyborg as much as you might think it would. I skipped forward and got to the end of the battle with him. But this is their headquarters / warehouse. And yep, there's Mini Shredder. Yeah, he looks a lot like Shredder. Since the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles magazine or comic book and cartoon had already been out by this point, it's possible that it was that character was inspired by Shredder. And here is the Multi-Ninja again. I'm sure he has a name, but I just call him Multi-Ninja. But remember that his copies take 2 hits apiece. If you use the charge attack on him, he will immediately stop and emit more multiples. Yeah, I hate that boss because, like I said, he likes to jump up to your level real quick, and he will likely bump into you and cause damage. I'm not a fan of the Bojutsu Master either. I used to do alright with the staff. I had I think I might still have a picture of myself in my karate gi, swinging the staff around. Almost got black belt, real close, and then I just kind of lost interest. And this is the final boss of the game, and whoops, there was a glitch. Got stuck in midair for some reason. But this final ninja, the Dragon Ninja, will be on a chopper, and he will throw flaming stars at you. Do not jump too high, especially like if you're on the chopper itself, because you can whack your head on the blades and really cause damage, if not just kill you. But just try to get close to him, whack him standing up, so maybe any stars he throws gets taken out by your nunchucks. And we've saved President Ronnie. And now we will see the ending of Bad Dudes, and I've got 999,999 points. Hey dudes, thanks for rescuing me. Let's go for a burger. Ha 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 ha. But that is the ending of Bad Dudes, and or at least President Ronnie is having a burger. And if you had beaten the game with Player 1 and Player 2 simultaneous play, then Player 2 would have been on the right of Ronnie, instead of just me on his left. And Player 1 is Blade and Player 2 is Striker. But that was Bad Dudes. It was also known as Bad Dudes vs. Dragon Ninja, and it was also known as just Dragon Ninja. But yeah, just learn all the moves that you can make, learn the distance of the jump that the ninjas make, and learn little strategies about the bosses. God, this game was absolutely everywhere, and everybody loved it, and I really loved it. So much fun. Such a disappointment that the NES port was such garbage. but what a fun arcade game. One of Data East's best games. But that was Bad Dudes, game number 1 in our 20 from 1988 series. Not as technically as impressive as other games on the list, perhaps, but this was certainly one of the most popular. Saw this at every arcade, convenience stores, wherever. But yeah, player 1 has the white pants, player 2 has the green pants. This had a spiritual sequel, perhaps, in Two Crude Dudes. But that was Bad Dudes, or Bad Dudes vs. Dragon Ninja, or just Dragon Ninja, created by Data East, game number 1 in our 20 from 1988 series. Well, someday soon, we will look at my 20 from 1989 series. Hope you join me then. But first, I got to bid a proper farewell to 1988. Bye-bye, folks.
Oh, the sweet smell of success and